Hi, hello, hello. Welcome to, I guess, an impromptu stream. Thank you for everyone who's popped in or who's going to pop in or who's watching this on the replay. I just wanted to do something real quick to celebrate 30,000 subscribers, which is like absolutely one of the most unhinged numbers I've ever heard. But yeah, welcome in. I'll take a couple of questions. We're gonna do some sprints and have a good time. Probably only gonna go for like a couple hours. And let me know if there's any issues with the audio because I cannot work with sound right now. But hello to everyone who's in here. Joy is here. Hi, Joy. It's so good to see you. Mick is here. Love you so much. Becca's here. Amazing. Okay. And yeah, I mean, like, if you want to talk about what you're working on or what your goals are for the stream, mine are personally going to, I don't know, I think I want to get through like Act 1 of Moths. So I'm doing my second dev edit now. I got notes back from my editors like a week and a half ago. Yeah, like actually 2 weeks ago exactly. So I'm moving through it kind of slow because I've been traveling pretty much nonstop for 2 weeks straight. I got home on Tuesday and then passed out for like almost 2 days straight, did nothing. So, time to get back on track. I am going to light a candle because that's kind of been my mood lately. Although I feel like candles are more of an autumn thing. Oh gosh, I might be dumb. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Or a winter thing, right? Like more of a cold weather cozy thing. And it's honestly getting kind of warm here, which I love the Midwest, but like humid Midwestern summers. I guess it's like, would you prefer to have humid 70 to 80 degrees or like dry 90 to 100, which is what I grew up with? I don't like either. So it's a lose lose situation. Oh, okay, let's go through. Peyton's here. Hi. Congrats on 30K. Thank you so much. Wow, we got a lot of folks in. Oh, congrats on 30K from Joy. Thank you, Joy. And yes, new hair. I did chop my hair. And it was like I had long hair probably for like 10 years because when I was younger, I had a pixie that grew out into a bob, like middle school, high school age. And then I just kind of let it grow out. And I hadn't been to a salon in a really long time, but I love how light it feels. I love how low maintenance it is. And yeah, we love the new hair. Cool. Joy might oscillate between editing a writing blog and working on the second draft of Project Phoenix. Exciting. Becca is softly revising chapter 1 of Project Eden. I want to reread all of Act 1 and start making some structural notes, which are necessary, felt, and heard. But so excited for you. I feel like that's a quick turn. Maybe because my sense of time is really messed up right now. But I mean, if y'all saw the writing retreat blogs, Becca, you finished your not first draft, but your draft like two a week and a half ago, which doesn't feel like a long time, but I respect the hustle. The haircut is so good. Thank you. I think so too. Ooh, the candle scent. So this one is called Island Orchid. What are your guys' preferred candle scents? I love anything fruity, floral, gourmand, vanilla-y, but I like something a little subtler, and this is a pet odor minimizing one, so it really fills the whole room. But it's sweet, it's floral, it's nice. And yeah, I mean, I just like to get a cheap candle from TJ Maxx every now and then as a treat. I think this one was like $4, so can't beat that. Okay, question from Becca. What are you most excited for this summer? Can be writing, personal travel, etc. Ooh. I'm excited to get my master's degree. I mean, yeah, no, I think I'm excited to be done with school. So that's like a personal milestone. And I am excited to be done with moths. It's looking like I might be done this summer. And then I'll be able to like fully focus on the next thing, which is Crips, which I just feel like I haven't been able to give it my full attention the entire time I've been working on it. So yeah, excited for those things. Joy grew up in the human 90s, so honestly, anything that's not that makes me happy. That's fair. That does sound freaking awful. Ooh, question from Mick. What has been the most unexpected part of revisions with an editor? I think like how deep we go. Not necessarily like deep in terms of the edits we do, but I just had a call with both of my editors and we ended up just like talking about character arcs and like theme and all these kind of like the subtext, and it wasn't even with the purpose of finding something to fix or edit. It was just to talk about it. And I honestly kept misconstruing the conversation. I was like, oh, they noticed an element. What was it? Something about like the main character's relationship with the men in her life. And I was like, oh, I can like add or increase or whatever. And they were like, no, no, no. We just wanted to like talk about it. So I think kind of that book club aspect is an unexpected part and one of my favorite parts. Like it truly feels like both of my editors really care about this book, which is kind of wild to say. And they're telling me, they have read it multiple times now, and they have said that they keep like finding new things, subtext or picking up on subtext that they hadn't caught before. So I guess just like, I don't know. It's really cool to have a professional looking at your work in such an in-depth manner and finding something of value in there. Yeah. Sarah Zell says, "Is this a writing sprint?" Yeah, I just like to chat and yap a bit, and then we'll go into writing sprints, I promise. Congrats on 30K. Watching and rewatching your vlogs lately for motivation. Thank you. I feel it makes me feel good when people say that they get motivation from my writing vlogs. So, thank you. Becca, I meant to take a month off, but I can't stay away. I'm so excited about it. That's so good. You should be excited about it. Project Eden, for those who are not in the know, Becca also makes YouTube videos, by the way. I've been fortunate enough to read parts of Project Eden, and it is so good. Like, the atmosphere, the characters, just beautiful. Okay. Wow, I'm still on candle scents. Okay. Have been obsessed with lavender and coffee. I love lavender. I haven't smelled a coffee candle. Sounds intriguing. Peyton says, do you have anything special planned that you want to do on the release day of Moth's Blood? I've been thinking about it, and I would love to do like some sort of event that people could come to. But it's so far off. The logistics are like, I can't even think about that right now. But that would be really fun. Otherwise, I think, I'm just gonna take my partner out, assassinate him. Just kidding. Like, to a nice meal. I feel like I am very much like the type of person who, when something fun happens for me, I like to treat other people out or, celebrate with other people. So maybe I'll purchase myself something or go on a hike or plan a trip. Joy says, I haven't really worked in depth with another person on my writing recently. The thought of picking an external brain, i.e., an editor, even a beta reader, is a little intimidating. That is so fair because it is super vulnerable. It's like a very vulnerable thing to, present this part of yourself to someone else and get their honest thoughts on it. But I think, every time it doesn't get easier for me really to have to share that work with others, especially professionals. But I think it is such a rewarding experience. And yeah, I don't know, just a very, very enriching part of the creative process. My new apartment complex doesn't allow candles. Well, how are they going to find out? I guess smoke alarms, but dang, that's tough. I'm so sorry. Hi. Oh my gosh, so many people. Amina, Millie, hi. Oh, welcome, welcome. We have a question from Abby. Can I find beta readers as a teen who can't reach out to people online? Yeah, so depending on, your accessibility, I feel like most schools at this point have some sort of writing club. If not just kind of poke around. There's at least one or two other people in your community who are your age and like to write, because I work with kids. Every freaking group, there's kids who love to write, and it makes me so happy. There was actually a NaNoWriMo club at my most recent school that I was working at, student teaching at. Um, there's always people who love to write, and you just kind of have to be diligent and also be willing to put yourself out there. I don't know if this is the same for other folks, but when I was a kid, I was very shy about my writing, and I didn't want to tell people that I wrote. But yeah, don't get me started on my writing club. For some reason, they age limited it to the younger kids, so I can't go. Oh, okay. Well, good news is you will get older at some point, but maybe you can like speak to someone in charge to, if they don't want younger kids in that group, it might be for a reason. Maybe that's like older teens discussing some sort of content that they don't want the younger kids involved with. So maybe you can ask if you could organize a group for that younger group. Yeah, that's really unfortunate. Any tips for newbie author tubers? Get out there, be yourself on camera. I know that's hard. I feel like I've only just started being myself on camera like this week. But I think it's really just like, I don't know, do what you want to do and block out the noise. There's a lot of people who might tell you that you have to do this, this, and this in order to be an author tuber, or you might feel like you have to put out, a certain type of content to be successful. Authorship success is not really, it's not important. I don't think it doesn't really move the needle in terms of what you probably actually want to do, which is writing. It's really just a fun way to build community, to make some memories, and yeah, I mean, just treat it as something that you do on the side when you can for fun, and try to be yourself on camera and just enjoy. Okay. Not that I started being myself this weekend. I swear, like something about um just having in the past like 3 months, 2 months alone, I've actually met up with other writers in person. Obviously, Amina, Mick, and Becca know this. And it's just made me feel so much less like I am weird. Like I have had this chip on my shoulder this whole time where I was like, I cannot. Like I am such an odd person. Um who writes these weird fantasy books and makes YouTube videos. But finding that community, I think, has really empowered me to just kind of be myself a little bit more, or all that bit more. And I just feel really happy and relaxed lately. Something shifted. Something shifted. That's all I'm saying. Oh my gosh, we have like half a retreat reunion in the chat. I love to see it. Oh, Becca, I can see the definite shift in you, though. You seem so much more comfy in your skin. Yeah, thanks. Um, cool. Congrats on 30K. I live in a place where I'm an extreme minority, and the only writing group is pensioners in a really conservative area. Is a beta reader enough, i.e., no critique group? Yeah, a beta reader is enough. Yeah, I feel that. Uh, I will say that like I've never really participated in a formal critique group or like an in-person critique group. Um, so like the online connections you make, yeah, you have to vet them a little more carefully, I do think, but it's perfectly valid and a great way to get feedback if that's what you're looking for. As a viewer, it's noticeable too. That's so cute. Love that for you guys. Thanks. Yeah, no, I'm glad it's noticeable. I don't know. I just feel good. Joy says, yeah, maybe don't welcome critique from people that aren't going to be anywhere near your perspective. Yeah, I've had a couple of bad experiences from online beta readers for that reason, but I hope you're able to find someone who is, able to provide meaningful and understanding critique of your work from, a similar or at least understanding perspective. Cool. Okay. Should we sprint? 30 minutes, maybe? Hold on. Oh, no. I'm so bad at arranging this thing. Okay. If we want to do 30 minutes, we can do 30 minutes. Cool. Okay. Oh, I lost it. Nope, here it is. All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Okay, I think that was time. Right? Yeah, that was time. Okay, coming back in, bringing it in. How was that for everyone? I see that we have a couple of things in chats and like questions and stuff, so I'll answer that real quick. Let me just pull this to my second monitor. Okay. I'm sorry, I've like really I was in the zone. I kind of got sleepy. Okay, so Joy got a new keyboard in the mail as a birthday present. Happy birthday, Joy. That's so exciting. I love a new keyboard. Excited to see it in a future vlog. Excuse me. Ooh, yeah. Those like buttery sounding ones, oh, they are the best. Thank you, Mars, for the super sticker. Andy's here. Hi, Andy, if you're still here. Yeah, no worries about joining late. We'll probably do another one here soon or another sprint. And then Big Foodie had a question. Lynn, what's the hardest thing to write in a book for you? So I feel like this varies, honestly, because every book's a little different. For mods, it was definitely just like the world building and then kind of weaving in the secondary characters because the main character was really easy for me once I like figured out what she was about. And kind of just weaving everything in around her story was a little trickier, but mods was definitely it has a lot of like weight to it. I think there's a lot of complexity in the themes and in the main character that was a challenge. Like it wasn't terribly difficult or a huge obstacle, but it was definitely something different. For Crips, it actually is the characters. Like both of them are not cooperating with me right now. I think because I'm so stuck on Lark, who is the main character from Moths, who genuinely feels like this like real person to me. She's just I've spent so much time with her. She's got so much going on, and I just don't have that relationship with the new Crips characters yet. So that's been kind of challenging. But I also think it's natural for challenges to change as you progress in the process of writing a book. So, for example, the things that I was struggling with a little bit more in mods during revision versus drafting versus planning were all really different. Yeah. Jasmine's here. Hey, Jasmine. Joy says, I pretty much just spent the time unboxing my keyboard and replacing keycaps. Understandable. Ooh, Becca revised 5 pages in detail. Love to see it. I need to do sprints more often. That was scarily productive. Yes. I really feel in the zone today too. And I think 30 minutes is like the perfect productive sprint time. So if you guys don't mind, I'll probably keep this like chatty section a bit short so we can like jump right into the next one. But just editing a bit from Sarah Zell. Amanda's working on draft 2 of their fantasy novel, trying to solve a problem with the antagonist's motivation at the climax. Maybe figured it out, maybe. Ooh, over 14K words. Very nice. Did some adulting, also a win. Peyton writes all the newsletters and emails for the nonprofit they work for. So I wrote and designed an email we have scheduled for next week, not my book. Yeah, I know. Do your job. That is totally okay. If you are here to not write or to just vibe, that is okay. So, for me, because I forgot to say, I am on chapter 4 of Mods right now. I'm like a good chunk through chapter 4, but there's like a scene here that I've always kind of struggled with the emotionality of. It just reads a little bit melodramatic, I think. And the rest of chapter 4 is probably one of my favorite sections. I actually like read part of it out loud at the retreat. But the front part of chapter 4, I think I just want to kind of tinker with how emotions are expressed in it and kind of like pulling back that melodrama, making some of that emotionality more subtextual. So it's not so on the surface, so much of an overreaction to, I don't know. I don't even know, but I'm going to take a look at it again. I just read through the first time and I was like, yeah, this isn't really working for me. So I'm going to try and make it work, maybe. Let's designers make it work. Yeah, and I guess think out loud because I have to be vague because obviously publishing is shrouded in mystery at all times for whatever reason, but there's just this beat where the main character like realizes she was wrong about someone and it's they're just both being so weird about it. They're so weird. They need to be less weird about this, I think. Um and thinking about who they've become and how they are characterized now. Uh I don't know. I think they're both like a little bit they both have a little bit of like arrested development. They're more immature than they other people their age might be. They're also like mid 20s. Uh but yeah, I don't know. I think I really need to pinpoint why she's feeling so upset about this reveal and also why the other person is feeling weird about her. Mm, I'm going to read through it again. We'll read through it again and see what comes up with that in mind. Like that idea. I'm going to write it down actually. This idea that there has to be a reason, even if they don't address it outright and they don't acknowledge it because they don't understand themselves in that way. I mean, there has to be a reason they're behaving this way. Ooh. Or at the very least, give some insight into why this reaction is what's happening and why it would be a little bit melodramatic, but also pulling that melodrama back. But before I dive into that, let's see. If you guys are ready for another 30-minute sprint, or we can do a shorter one, just let me know. Oh, hair in my mouth. And we could do that. But if you have any other questions, feel free to drop them. I'm just like answering questions right now. So if you're curious about TradPub, if you're curious about moths, if you're curious about me for whatever reason, yeah, Spencer, go ahead, ask a quick writing question. And then we'll do 30. Just give me like, I guess, a minute to jot down some notes and then I'll answer Spencer's question and then we'll go. Okay, good. Yeah, 30 minutes also felt really good for me. This is just one of those days, right? And you got to take advantage of them while they're happening. When it comes to character names ending in S and the possessive S, what is generally preferred nowadays? James's bike versus James's bike. I can't seem to find a conclusive answer and would love input. I have always put like single apostrophe, so no double S. So the second option, James bike. And I haven't been corrected yet, but I also don't think that's one of those things where it's such an easy fix if there is a stylistic preference one way or another that just do whatever feels right. And if it becomes a problem, it's not gonna, like make or break. Is that a regional thing? I don't know. Okay, one more question, then we'll go. Sweet Karma says, who are your favorite authors in fantasy series, and do you take any inspiration from them? That's a great question. So authors, definitely like Laini Taylor, who I've loved since, that sounds weird, but I've been reading her stuff since I was a teenager. Absolutely love Lainey's writing style. And then Ocean Vuong, I've read pretty much everything he's ever written. I just got his new release, signed copy. We love to see it. Not a flex, but kind of a flex. And yeah, I just love Ocean Vuong's stuff. I could wax poetic about it for ages. And there's someone else who I like will always automatically pick up. I love that I can't remember. I like want to say Naomi Novik, but there's some stuff that I've read from her where I'm like, this just isn't for me personally. But I do love her writing style. And I think pretty much any deeply like literary leaning, rich voice, stuff that leans toward a fairy tale kind of thing. I love that. I love a poetic voice. I love literary leaning prose. I love that stuff in genre fiction. And there's definitely more authors that I just can't think of right now. Ocean Vuong is perfect and R.F. Kuang. Yes, Ocean Vuong is perfect in my eyes. I don't think he can do any wrong. R.F. Kuang, I actually haven't read that much from, but I do want to get more into her stuff because it I've been trying to read Babel for a long time. It's just a little bit dense for me. Because, my brain is small, but it's like I can respect and appreciate the craft, but I'm just struggling to get into it as a reader. I think I need to be in exactly the right mindset for it. Um, and gosh, it's actually bothering me that I can't think of the other writer who I always read. It's fine. Whatever. Amanda says, "Oh, Naomi Novik short story are so lovely." Sarazal says, "I just read Ocean Vuong for the first time. I'm both in awe and devastated at the same time." Um, well, sorry, I'm reading Amelia's other comment. Yeah, no, I mean, I think Ocean Vuong consistently makes me cry. Consistently. Okay, so let's go into the sprint because everyone seems to be ready. If I can make this work, there we go. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay, that's time. That's 30 minutes. How's everyone doing? I'm gonna go ahead and check the comments. Ooh, got really sleepy on that one. Don't know why. Like I said, it'll probably come to you mid-sprint. Unfortunately, it did not. But it's out there somewhere. The truth is out there. Okay. Question from the indecisive writer. Pantser turned outliner here. Is there a method that anyone has used that feels more gradual? I'm wondering if maybe I'm overthinking this. You got a lot of really good answers in chat, but just wanted to chime in and say that, like, I think a looser outline or a more like big bullet points outline versus a very detailed chapter by chapter, although I do a chapter by chapter outline now and again, even act by act, I think, looser outlines are the way to go because you can kind of fill in the blanks as you draft. But then this person got kind of stuck on chapter 4. So, yeah, maybe you can start like applying your bullet points to a structure like Save the Cat and see where things slot in. I feel like usually when I get stuck, it's because I am missing something like a midpoint twist that is significant to the story. But at this point, after a while, you kind of get to a stage where you're outlining a lot more intuitively. So just keep at it, keep practicing. It's never going to be perfect, but find what method works best for you. Cool. Okay, so a lot of this was that. Brielle said hi if you're still here. Thank you. Love you. If not, still love you. And oh yeah, I do have like conservative ads on. Not like politically conservative, but like you'll get an ad every hour, maybe 45 minutes. Sorry about that, but that is the situation. And I also do suspect that YouTube plays ads even if you have those turned off. So yeah. Cool. Looks like, yeah, we got some word vomit during the sprint. Nice. Becca finished revising chapter 1. Congratulations. Yeah. Oh, okay. In time for me to get food because I stood up to get water and almost passed out. Please eat. Oh no. Reading The Hunger Games to learn how to do first person better. I do think that's a really good example of first person. Finished revising chapter 29. Congrats, Chrissy. Great work. Andy went good cleaning up chapter 16 and adding some higher stakes. Very intense scenes, so having lots of fun. Ooh, fun. Okay, zero draft. Slightly less productive because I was eating dinner while writing, but still pretty good. I'm writing the scene where the MC meets her love interest in the romantic subplot, which is fun. I love a first meeting scene. I love reading them. I love writing them. I think that first impression moment can be so many things, and it's so much fun. And it's so much fun to like unravel from there. But yeah, super fun. For me, what did I do? I got sleepy. Oh, that's what I did. No, I'm still churning through chapter 4. I think I managed to like very subtly kind of shift the energy of that scene I was talking about. So it's a little less melodramatic. And now I'm just kind of in like a stage where I hate my line level writing and I hate everything because when do we not have those stages, honestly? So yeah, just paying a little bit closer attention to the line level, but I am kind of tired of this scene. I don't like it, but it might just be because I've worked on it so many times. So I think I need a little more distance. But kind of yeah, bookmarking chapter 4 as my problem child. Honestly, it's kind of a bummer because like chapters 1 to like the middle of chapter 4 have never really been my favorite. There's parts of like chapters 1, 2, 3 that I like, but I think the story just like really hits its stride chapter 4. But it's not like a good starting point for the book, and also I think it's okay to have a little bit of a slower buildup, which Moths does have. But yeah, I mean, like, it's just the opening of this book has never been my favorite, and readers have disagreed with me, but I do just think that this book really it gets it gets to its best self, like, a little bit later, and you just kinda have to, like, stick it out. But yeah, I do kinda worry that the first couple chapters are a little too slow and, like, might put people off, but I don't know, like, plenty of people have disagreed with me where I've just kinda left it. And I do think they're very functional, like, they serve their purpose. They're just not my favorite. I don't know, they're just not my favorite parts of the book, which is fine. Like, every part of the book does not have to be my favorite part, but it's it's weird. I don't know. Becca, now I have to go back and read your chapter 4. I mean, you can, but it's I do think the back half of chapter 4 is really fun, and I really love it. I sometimes forget that, um, you've read my first act, Becca. That's so funny. Girl, what? I loved your first chapter. See, there's plenty of disagreement, but yeah, I just think that my favorite sections of the book are more in the middle and the end. So pretty much everything except the beginning. Yeah, and it was fine. Thank you. Heart. Um, cool. Do we feel up for another one? I don't know. What's the vibe right now? I think I might do a shorter one just because I'm getting kind of tired. And oh my gosh, it's only 2:30. Wow. Okay, bye, Becca. Yeah, feed yourself, take care of yourself. Love you so much. Thank you for being here. Okay. A shorter one maybe, like a 15, 20 minutes. I do want to get through chapter 4. Like I know I said I want to do all of Act 1. Now it's just chapter 4. Okay. Let's do 20. I think that'll get me to where I need to go. 20 and then just, sit and chill for a bit and then pop off for the day. This is fun. I like doing kind of an impromptu sprint because I don't have that like sense of anticipation and build up. So it's it's a lot easier for me, I think, that way. And when I schedule it days in advance, sometimes the day comes and I'm like, oh, I don't have the same energy that I had when I scheduled this thing. So maybe same day sprints or streams are the move. Okay. So let's do 20 minutes. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Okay, work. That was 20 minutes. So let me know how it went. Um, yeah, it was a little bit of a shorter one, and I think this is probably going to be the last one, but I'm here to sit and chat if you guys are down. Um, yeah, I mean, for me, that was good. It was. I did get to the end of chapter 4, but I'm just doing another pass now, so I'm on the top end. And I think I've kind of identified my issue with it. It's just a little bit distant. I want a little bit more of that closeness, that internality, emotionality, which I think I've gotten a lot better at depicting in the past couple years without like outright telling what the character is feeling. I kind of show it through their string of thoughts and their reactions to things. Um, and again, with show and tell, everything's a balance. So yeah, I mean, I think I kind of tweaked the very, very beginning of chapter 4, like the top end, and I like it a lot more already. So I think I'm just gonna kind of follow that vein of edits as I'm going through chapter 4 again. But I also think that I'm done for today because I don't want to do this anymore. No, I mean, I just need a little break and I'll probably get back to it in a couple hours. Um, why do I sit like a shrimp when writing, even with all the right seating arrangements? Listen, I'm like full shrimp, not even shrimp, like Nosferatu, like arms up. For some reason, my elbows go up when I type every single day. I I don't know what it is. I also like have just a weird wrist posture, I think because I did piano, and piano wrist posture and keyboard wrist posture cannot possibly be the same, but uh so no shame in being a shrimp, but also don't do that. It's bad for you. I have a problem with conveying emotions without telling to. Yeah, I think this is honestly one of like the most difficult like writing skills. And of course it's very necessary because you don't want to constantly be saying, "Oh, she was angry, she was sad." You want to, spice it up a little bit, but I think it is very difficult to describe how a feeling feels, right? Without saying it outright because I mean, how do you describe it? It's for me it's been really helpful to be like, okay, show it through stream of consciousness, show it through reactions and like physical sensations. Although physical sensations can absolutely be a crutch for people. So something to be mindful of. Ooh, Marco is starting a new book, 750 words into chapter 1. That's so exciting. Also, welcome, Marco. I'm glad you're able to make the tail end of the stream. I just calculated how much I've written today, and that was my best writing day that I've had this whole book so far. Yay! Yeah, this is my best writing day that I've had for a while. So, I mean, there's tons of people who do regular live streams. Pretty much like all my friends, Alyssa and Becca does some. Joy does a lot, so check out Joy's channel as well. Yeah, I try to hop on a stream whenever I can catch one, but that hasn't really been a reality this past semester for me just because, I've just been horribly busy, but I'm a little less busy now. How do you go about creating character arcs and showing character change internally and externally? I'm having an issue with that right now. So I think this can go about multiple ways, and you know, like it'll be in how they talk, how they treat other people, but ultimately, I think most of your character change is going to be expressed through action. So, what choices are they making? What is their reasoning for it? So, a little bit of thought, but a lot of action. Like, not like fighting action necessarily, but what they are actually doing, how they're treating people, etc. Obviously, this will change depending on your arc, depending on your situation, your themes, your story, your character. But for me, I think action is that telltale way to really show that someone has changed, especially if they have a choice initially when they're like, stage 1 Pokemon pre-evolution baby self before the character arc, and they make a decision in that moment and they have a similar or even the same choice later on in the book after they've developed, and you can show them changing their choice and making a different decision. I think that, and if you can like justify it in a way that makes sense for their arc, that's really how you show that powerful kind of character arc, I think. Andy says, went super good, super close to finishing up chapter 16 changes. Yay! I am so excited. Andy's book, also phenomenal, fantastic. I think, was it me who got to read it out loud? I think I did kind of a bad job narrating, but I mean, it's just such a fun, like, rich fantasy, and I'm super excited for this book. Oh, welcome, Ava. Just popped in the sprint, free wrote a little bit. Nice, nice. Haven't worked on anything new in so long. Yep, understand that feeling. It's always an adjustment. What is your outlining process like, and what is your process for revision? Yeah, I mean, my outlining process, I usually do brainstorming, kind of organize the brainstorm, stream of consciousness. I like to handwrite or just like type stream of consciousness, and I try to organize it into like bare bones 3, 4, or 5 act structure, and then from there I kind of try to like define scenes and then split the scenes into chapters. But it's very intuitive for me, and I think for something like Moths, it would have been much more difficult for me to break it into chapters. I kind of just went cause, effect, cause, effect. Like each scene leads into the next scene because something that happens in that previous scene causes the next scene, if that makes sense. But for Crypts, which is my gothic adult fantasy, I think that chapter by chapter method made a lot more sense because stuff is constantly happening. Everyone is an instigator in that book. It's so funny. And yeah, but just kind of breaking things up into whatever feels the most natural for you. But really defining scenes and especially defining those big moments, like the catalytic moment, if you have that, the midpoint twist, climax, and then kind of filling in the gaps from there might be helpful. For revision, it depends. It really depends. Because for my like independent solo revision, I really like to do a read through, and over time, you kind of like get a sense for what your habits are. For example, for me, I always need to flesh out the secondary and tertiary characters because I focus too much on the main character or characters. And world building also tends to go kind of to the wayside, so I know to look out for those things. For revision, I also like to do a reverse outline. So I'll read through the book, I'll write down the beats that happen, and I'll kind of like have an outline of all the events in the story. And that'll serve as like kind of a bird's eye view of all the events in the story. And I feel like that's very helpful for understanding those developmental changes that you might want to make or spotting spotting weaknesses in the plot, character arcs, themes, etc. Um, who says, hey, new sub here. Also just joined the live mid sprint. Loving everything I've seen and read from you so far. Thank you. Can't believe I only came across you, but I feel so fortunate at the same time. Thanks so much. I mean, I love it. I appreciate it. Everyone new is welcome. Um, oh my gosh, hi CK. Yeah, I am still streaming only for a little bit, but you know, wait, like all my friends are, this is amazing. Cody's here. Hi. Love you so much. Thank you. Thank you. This is, oh my gosh, it's a party. Thank you for the sprints. Hoping to catch any others. Congrats again on 30K. Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by. I am a little bit more free now, so hopefully I can do at least a couple of streams. I don't want to make any promises, but I'd love to do like 1 or 2 streams per month. And again, if not, I like to pop into other people's streams. And so many wonderful author tubers run streams in a way that like nowadays, I feel like you could have a stream at least once or twice a week. Before, it was a lot more of a desert, and I'm just so glad that this community is growing. Also in the middle of writing some very important dialogue, how do you not cringe when trying to communicate something you feel super serious about? Oh, just embrace the cringe. Honestly, I write cringy stuff all the time. The main character of Mons is like unbearable sometimes, low key. And just, just lean into it. I feel like you have to kind of stop caring. Because, writing is kind of cringe. It's kind of vulnerable. It's very vulnerable, and it's okay to feel cringy about it. Okay, another question from Christiana. I keep trying to write short stories, but it keeps ballooning into a full-blown novel, and I've always wanted to know how you keep your short stories from doing that. Yeah, I mean, I think a short story idea is very different from a novel idea. Um, I have this problem with any short story set in a secondary world. They turn out very long, and sometimes they turn into novels. Um, but I think, generally speaking, to me, a short story is like just more succinct. Like, I want to get something very specific across thematically or in terms of like, just exploring a character or a situation or something like that. And it's just not enough to carry a full novel, if that makes sense. So maybe focusing your attention on just what you want to say in that short story and not letting yourself get distracted by kind of the accessory stuff like world building, additional characters, etc. I'm not quite sure what is, enticing you in the direction of a novel, but I think that's okay too. I mean, like some short story ideas do naturally turn out to be longer than a short story. But if you do want to write short stories, then just kind of laser focus on that little bit of message or exploration that you want to do. Oh, Tommy, hi. I'm so glad you're here, even if you are late. That is okay. This was very impromptu. Do you have commonly used words you look for when revising to strengthen your manuscript in revision? Yes, I think like the filter words, which are words that kind of filter action or observations through the lens of the character who is narrating. So something like, for example, I saw the bird flying overhead. Saw would be a filter word. And they're not inherently bad, but I feel like too many of them really bog down what's happening, right? So if I see something like I saw the bird flying overhead, I would just put the bird was flying overhead or the bird flew overhead, right? Same with I felt or they felt, she felt, he felt, etc. Um, touched, maybe, sense, all these like kind of sensory and sometimes emotive words that, filter something that could just be straight up description. And outside of that, my crutch words are apparently claw, as I've learned this past couple weeks, and quite. I say quite so much, and it makes me laugh because it just feels like something like a an old timey like British person aristocrat would say like, "Oh, quite." I don't know. So I have to watch out for that as well. And yeah, I think those are probably eyes. I use eyes too much and smile. So again, that like physical description of emotion comes through a lot with eyes, smile. I say teeth a lot. I don't know why, but yeah, I think those are some of the ones that have been popping up in mods a lot. Oh my gosh, so many friends. It makes me like not want to go. um Ooh, Abby says I've been compiling a list of author tubers to follow during this stream. Let me contribute to that list. Obviously, Joy, Dami, Peyton Reeds, Cody. Wow, I'm blanking on all my friends. Becca, Andy, Brielle, of course. Um, yeah, I'm just like everyone who has been in here and has said hi. CK has an amazing channel. I'm just going through now. And outside of that, I mean, there's just so many wonderful people in this space. Okay, I'm glad I'm not alone. Surizel said quite is also a word for them, and seemed. Yes, seemed or seems. Ooh, I don't know what it is. I think now that I'm thinking about it, thing, like anything ending in thing or the word thing on its own. So something, anything, thing. I control F and I try to just get rid of as many as possible. Um, Sarah says, working my day job but listening in. Do you like noting a character's personal style in your work and or brainstorming process? I find it kind of fun, even if it's not included. Yeah, I think I'm kind of like a fashion person. I can't really like conjure images in my brain, but I like to look at Pinterest and get an idea of what a character might look like based on vibes, and style's a really big part of that. For example, I guess like Lark is always in like kind of sleek coats, kind of more form-fitting clothing, but she does cover skin because she's a little bit, you know, she does not like to be touched. And so I've always written Lark as having like short hair, and I always had long hair, so I never thought that people would think that I based Lark on myself because she's kind of a bad person. Then I cut my hair short, and now the allegations are going to come in. I can feel it. Um, but yeah, she's also tall, which I think is funny. That's like my wish fulfillment is I make my characters tall because I'm short. So short. So short. Ugh. And yeah, my characters be feeling and felting all over the dang place. That's okay. It happens. At least you're aware of it. Cool. Well, I think, wow, 2 hours and 10 minutes. I think that's going to be the tail end of it. Oh, one last question from Clara. Any tips for the last line edit that fast before querying? I'm almost there. First of all, incredibly exciting. Congratulations. Take a breath, pat yourself on the back. That is a huge accomplishment. Um, for the last line editing phase, probably I think fine tooth comb, but also if there's anything that has helped me like kind of hear the flow of my sentences, it's reading out loud. So either having something read to you or reading out loud to yourself. I think hearing it is such a different experience from seeing the words. Ooh, thumbs up. That it will give you a new perspective on your work that you've been staring at, I'm sure, for months on end and are kind of sick of. So yeah, I think getting some sort of method to hear the words or to change what you're looking at. So if you're hearing impaired or anything like that, you can change the font, change the background color of the pages, change the font size, literally anything to kind of like make it so that what you're working with is different from what you've been staring at this entire time. Um, okay. Well, I cut my hair wanting to have my female main character cut her hair for an emotional reveal. Then I scrapped that idea after getting Bob. Yeah, I'm locked in. I just have to live with this reality. But I do love the Bob, and in my head, Lark's hair is shorter. So there's that. Okay, well, thank you so much. This has been so fun. Thank you to everyone who's popped in. Thank you to people who are watching this on the replay. I hope you had some really productive sprints, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.